Why hitting rock bottom at 45 was the best thing that ever happened to me. At 45, I lost everything. One hot June morning, I sat alone on a worn-out couch in a tiny 20 square meter apartment on the outskirts of town. Beside me was a bag stuffed with my belongings hastily packed when I left the house I had called home for the past 17 years. My wife had left 3 weeks earlier, taking our 2 children with her, and a look in her eyes I will never forget disappointment. The startup I had poured 5 years of my life into had just gone bankrupt. My bank account barely held $200, and right then, I had nothing left but loneliness, shame, and a single haunting question that echoed in my mind. How did I let it all fall apart? Once upon a time, I had it all. A high-paying job in advertising, a beautiful home in the suburbs, and what looked like a happy family. But I didn't appreciate any of it. I dove into entrepreneurship like a moth to a flamenco backup plan, no emotional preparation for failure. I neglected my family, cut off friends, and locked myself in a world of big dreams. I called it passion. But deep down, it was fear, a desperate attempt to escape the terrifying realization that I was aging, that my life was ordinary, and that I couldn't accept simplicity. Life hit back hard. Losing everything, I spiraled into depression. Every day felt like a meaningless loop. I woke up at noon, barely ate, rarely changed clothes. Some days I just lay in bed staring at the ceiling, numb. I stopped answering calls, stopped checking emails. I couldn't face the outside world. I didn't even have the courage to ask for a job flipping burgers. But when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way left to go: up. I didn't know it then, but silence can be a gift, a chance to finally hear yourself. With no one to impress and nothing left to protect, I found myself being honest for the first time in years. I realized I hadn't been truly happy for a long time. Even when I had the house, the car, the bank account inside, I had been empty. In those sleepless nights, I started writing. Not for anyone, just for myself. To untangle the chaos in my mind. I wrote about childhood, my parents, my first love, about the moment I made the wrong turn in, all the things I regretted. I wrote every day. Then one day, I posted a short piece on my personal Facebook page like a confession. To my surprise, people responded, not with judgment, but with kindness. A friend I hadn't talked to in years messaged me, "You write really well. Ever thought about becoming a writer?" I laughed out loud. A writer? At 45, broke, divorced, unemployed? But that comment stuck with me. I began writing more seriously every morning. Not for money, not for recognition, just to tell my story, the story of a middle-aged man who thought his life was over. I started a blog, wrote short essays. Eventually, people invited me to speak about rebuilding after failure. A small publishing house reached out. My first book, The Wind That Blew Through the Past, came out when I was 47. It wasn't a bestseller, but to me it was a miracle. At the same time, I was learning how to heal. I practiced meditation. I walked every afternoon. I cooked for myself. I learned to forgive the world, my ex-wife, and most importantly, myself. I stopped trying to win my family back, but I kept showing up in small ways. I texted my kids goodnight. I remembered their birthdays. Slowly, my son started replying. My daughter sent me an essay she wrote for school. It ended with, "My dad failed, but he never gave up. He's still my hero." I cried when I read that. And for the first time in years, I felt grateful for losing everything. Because without that collapse, I never would have stopped. I would have kept running in that endless race-chasing status, money, approval without ever asking if it made me happy. But hitting rock bottom forced me to pause. It made me slow down, it made me humble, it gave me back my heart. Today, I live in a small house by the sea. I write. I teach writing workshops to others who want to tell their stories. Every morning, I brew coffee, open the windows, and take a deep breath. I don't rush anymore. I don't fear the future. I don't need much, because I already have the most precious thing, peace. And that's why I say, hitting rock bottom at 45 was the best thing that ever happened to me.